Emma and Ella were born as identical twins in a small African town. They had the same smile, the same eyes, and the same little birthmark on their right shoulders. But when they were just 3 years old, something terrible happened. Their parents couldn't stop fighting and decided to get divorced. The rain poured heavily the night Emma and Ella's lives changed forever. They were only 3 years old when their parents' marriage crumbled. Their mother, a woman who longed for the luxuries of the city, took Emma and disappeared into the bright lights of wealth and opportunity. Their father, a simple man who loved his roots, took Ella back to the village, raising her in the quiet embrace of nature and tradition. For 13 years, they grew up apart, unaware of each other's daily struggles. Emma became a city girl, living in a mansion filled with luxuries. She was an extrovert, always surrounded by friends, and by the age of 16, she had already become a famous model. But behind the glamour, she suffered in silence, battling an eating disorder and the crushing weight of perfection. In the village, a world away from flashing cameras and designer clothes, Ella grew up shy and quiet. While other children played outside, she preferred to sit under the shade of a big mango tree, writing stories in her little journal. Her father, a kind teacher, gave her books to read and encouraged her imagination. Ella's world was small but peaceful. "Ella, why don't you go play with the other children?" her father would ask. "I'm happy with my stories, Dad," she would answer, smiling down at her journal. Writing stories was her passion, but she never imagined that one day her quiet world would collide with the chaos of her sister's life. Meanwhile, in the busy city, Emma was living a completely different life. Her beauty had caught the attention of modeling agents. Soon, her face was on billboards and in magazines. She had many friends, went to fancy parties, and everyone wanted to know her. Emma's mother managed her career carefully. The money Emma earned paid for their beautiful mansion, expensive clothes, and many servants. They lived like queens, all because of Emma's pretty face. But being perfect all the time was not easy. When Emma turned 16, things started to change. The pressure to stay thin, to look flawless in every photo, became too much. Emma started eating less and less. Some days she wouldn't eat at all. Her bright smile disappeared, and dark thoughts filled her mind. "You need to lose 2 more kilos before the next shoot," her mother would say, not noticing how Emma's hands shook or how dark the circles under her eyes had become. One day, Emma simply couldn't get out of bed. She refused to go to her photo shoot. She refused to eat. She refused to speak. Emma's mother panicked. Without Emma's modeling jobs, they would lose everything: the mansion, the servants, the expensive lifestyle. And worse, if Emma broke her contract with the big fashion brand, they would have to pay a huge amount of money they didn't have. That's when she remembered. Emma had a twin sister, and something needed to be done quickly. "Hello? Is this John?" Emma's mother spoke nervously into the phone. "Melissa? Why are you calling after all these years?" Ella's father sounded surprised. "There's an emergency. I need to see you and Ella. Right away." The next day, there was a knock on the door of Ella and her father's simple village home. Ella opened it to find a well-dressed woman with expensive sunglasses standing there. "Hello," the woman said, removing her sunglasses. "Ella?" Ella stared at the stranger. "Yes, who are you?" The woman's eyes filled with tears. "I'm your mother, Ella." Ella stepped back in shock, her heart pounding. She had no memory of this woman. Not a single picture, not a single story. Her father had never spoken about her mother. She had grown up thinking her mother wanted nothing to do with her. This elegant city woman was her mother? The mother she hadn't seen in 13 years? The mother who had never called, never written, never sent birthday cards? My mother? Ella whispered. At that moment, Ella's father came to the door. His face turned into a frown when he saw his ex-wife. He knew this day would come, but he never thought it would be like this. Melissa, come inside. Let's not do this on the doorstep. Once inside, Ella stared at the woman who had given birth to her. She couldn't see any resemblance. There was a distance between them, years of silence stretching wider than the space between their seats. Why are you here? John asked directly. It's about Emma, Melissa said, turning to look at Ella. Your sister. My sister? Ella said. You mean my twin? Dad told me I had a twin, but I've never seen her. Not even a picture. Melissa looked shocked. You never showed her pictures of Emma? Of me? John's face darkened. You took everything when you left, including all the family photos. And you never once asked about Ella in 13 years. Melissa waved her hand dismissively. That's not important now. I have a serious problem. Emma is sick. She's suffering from depression and an eating disorder. She's supposed to finish a very important modeling contract, but she can't work like this. And John asked coldly, and if she doesn't finish this contract, we'll be sued for millions. We'll lose everything. Melissa looked desperately at Ella. But you could take her place. Just until she gets better. What? Ella gasped. No one would know. You're identical twins. Well, almost identical. Emma's skin is a bit lighter from all the skin treatments. You'd need to bleach your skin a little to match hers perfectly. Bleach her skin? John stood up, furious. You haven't seen your daughter in 13 years, and the first thing you ask is for her to change her appearance? To pretend to be someone else? To lie? It's not like that. Melissa protested. This is an emergency. Get out, John said quietly. Get out of our house. Ella's stomach turned. You've been gone for 13 years. And now you come asking me to pretend to be my sister just so you won't lose money? Ella's father shot up from his chair. This is ridiculous. She is not going anywhere. Ella was furious too, but deep down, a part of her was curious. She had a sister she had never met, and a chance to see the world beyond the village. But the next day, Ella's phone rang. It was a number she didn't recognize. Now, before we continue, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button to show some love. Subscribe to be part of my community, and for more amazing content, drop a comment and let me know what you think so far. I read and reply every single one. Let's grow this community together. Your support helps keep these stories alive. Now back to the story. Hello. Ella, it's your mother. Ella almost hung up, but curiosity kept her listening. I know yesterday was a shock, Melissa said smoothly. But I have an offer for you. I saw the notebooks in your room. Your father told me you liked to write stories. Yes, Ella said cautiously. I have connections with publishing companies in the city. If you help me, if you pretend to be Emma just for 3 months, I promise I'll get your stories published. You could be a famous author, Ella. Ella's heart beat faster. To be a published author was her biggest dream. And wasn't she also curious about her twin sister? About the city life she never had? I'll think about it, she said. That night, Ella couldn't sleep. Her head was filled with thoughts about her mysterious twin, about the city, about seeing her stories in print. By morning, she had made her decision. I'll do it, she told her father. Just for 3 months. I want to meet Emma, and Mom promised to help publish my stories. John looked worried. I don't trust your mother, Ella. She only cares about money. I'll be careful, Dad. I promise. 2 days later, Ella found herself in a car driving through the biggest city she had ever seen. Tall buildings reached up to touch the clouds. People in fancy clothes hurried along wide streets. And billboards, Giant pictures hanging high above the roads showed beautiful models selling expensive things. Then Ella saw it, a billboard with her own face on it. Except it wasn't her face. It was Emma's. That's Emma? Ella whispered. Yes, she's very famous, Melissa said proudly. And soon, everyone will think that's you up there. The car pulled up to a huge house with tall gates. A man in uniform opened the gate, and they drove into a beautiful garden with a fountain. It was enormous, nothing like the small, cozy house she had shared with her father. Servants bustled around, carrying trays of food, cleaning, attending to her mother's every need. This is your home now, Melissa said. At least for the next 3 months. Where's Emma? Ella asked, looking around. In her room, probably, Melissa said vaguely. She doesn't come out much these days. Ella was shown to a beautiful guest room with a bed bigger than her entire bedroom back home. She unpacked her simple clothes, feeling strange in this grand place. Suddenly, angry shouts echoed down the hallway. Ella opened her door and followed the noise to a large dining room. A girl who looked exactly like her, it was like looking in a mirror, was screaming at a nervous-looking maid. I told you I wanted a burger. Burger. Not this disgusting healthy food. Are you stupid? Emma, please, Melissa said, trying to calm her. I told the chef to prepare vegetables. You need to eat properly. I don't care what you told them. Emma shouted. It's my life. My body. I'll eat what I want. Ella stood in the doorway, shocked. She would never speak to an adult like that, especially not her parent. Emma, Melissa said, noticing Ella. Look who's here. Emma turned, and for the first time, the twins looked into each other's eyes. Time seemed to stop. It was like looking at yourself, but not yourself. Same eyes, same nose, same mouth. But Emma's eyes were hard and angry. Her skin was indeed lighter, her hair perfectly styled. She was thinner than Ella, almost too thin. So, this is my replacement? Emma said coldly. The village twin? Emma, Melissa scolded. Don't be rude. Ella is here to help us. You mean help you keep your expensive lifestyle? Emma shot back. She looked Ella up and down. Good luck with that diet plan. It's killer. Literally. With that, Emma stormed out of the room. That night, Ella cried herself to sleep. What had she gotten herself into? Her sister clearly hated her. Her mother only saw her as a way to make money. She missed her father and her quiet village life. But she had made a promise. 3 months. Just 3 months, and then her stories would be published. The next day, Ella was taken to the modeling agency. The building was all glass and steel, filled with beautiful people rushing around importantly. Remember, Melissa whispered as they walked in. You are Emma. Don't let anyone know the truth. A stern-looking woman approached them. Emma, finally, where have you been? We have a shoot in 30 minutes. I'm sorry, Ella stammered. I wasn't feeling well. The woman, Emma's manager, looked suspicious. You sound different. And you're apologizing? That's new. Melissa laughed nervously. She's been resting her voice. Doctor's orders. As Ella was rushed to hair and makeup, she noticed people staring at her. Some whispered behind their hands. Others simply looked away when she tried to smile at them. Why is everyone acting strange? She asked a makeup artist who was applying foundation to her face. The woman raised her eyebrows. You don't remember how you screamed at the photographer last week? Or how you made the new assistant cry? Or how you said Janet's dress made her look like a fat cow? Ella's heart sank. Her sister wasn't just rude to family. She was mean to everyone. The photo shoot was terrifying and exciting at the same time. Ella had never had so many people focusing on her, telling her how to stand, how to look, how to move her hands. Emma, chin up. No, not like that. You know better, the photographer kept shouting. Somehow, she got through it. And surprisingly, the photos looked good. Really good. Not bad for someone who's been sick, the manager said, looking at the digital images. But you need to lose at least 2 kilos before the big shoot next week. Ella opened her mouth to protest, but caught her mother's warning look. Then she met Lucas as she was leaving the studio. A handsome young man about her age approached him. "Hey," she said, smiling. "I'm Ella." She caught herself just in time. The young man stared at her in shock. "Why are you talking to me? And why are you smiling? Should I not be?" Ella asked, confused. "After what you did? After you humiliated me in front of everyone? After you posted those lies about me online? You called me the worst mistake of your life." Ella was horrified. "I'm sorry I didn't." "Save it, Emma," he said bitterly. "I don't know what game you're playing now, but I'm not interested." Ella's heart sank. So Emma had treated him terribly too. "I'm sorry," she said sincerely. Lucas studied her for a moment. "You're weird." As he walked away, another model whispered to Ella, "That's Lucas. Your ex, remember? You treated him like dirt when you dumped him." Days passed, and Ella tried her best to be Emma, while also trying to undo some of the damage her sister had caused. She apologized to people Emma had hurt. She thanked the staff who helped her. She smiled at fans who recognized her on the street. And slowly, people started to notice the change. "Emma seems different," she overheard someone say. "Almost nice." Lucas, especially, seemed confused by the new Emma. When Ella apologized to him properly, explaining that she had been going through a hard time, he cautiously began to talk to her again. "I never thought I'd be having coffee with you again," Lucas said one afternoon as they sat in a cafe after a shoot. "You really have changed." Ella felt guilty for the deception, but also happy that she was fixing her sister's broken relationships. "People can change," she said softly. "Sometimes they just need a second chance." Lucas smiled at her, and Ella felt her heart skip a beat. He was kind, funny, and passionate about photography. They began spending more time together, going for walks, talking about books and films. One evening, they were laughing together in the studio when Emma appeared. She had left the house without telling anyone. Her face was furious when she saw Lucas and Ella together. "What is this?" she demanded. Lucas looked confused. "Emma? But you're..." He looked back and forth between the identical twins. "I can explain," Ella started, but Emma cut her off. "Stealing my life wasn't enough? Now you're stealing my ex-boyfriend too." "Your ex-boyfriend that you treated terribly," Ella shot back. Lucas backed away, his face a mask of shock. "There are 2 of you? What is going on?" "Lucas, wait," both twins said at once, but he was already walking rapidly toward the exit. Back at the mansion, the fight continued. "You're jealous," Emma's accused. "Jealous of my life, my career, my everything." "Jealous? Of what?" Ella cried. "Of being so miserable you can't get out of bed? Of treating everyone around you like dirt? Of starving yourself to please people who only care about how you look?" Emma's face crumpled. "You don't understand what it's like. The pressure. The expectations. Everyone watching you, judging you all the time. Then why are you angry that I'm talking to Lucas? You broke up with him, remember?" Emma looked away. "Because even though I treated him badly, I still care about him. And seeing him like you better than me, it hurts." The next day at the agency, Emma's manager handed Ella a folder. "Your diet plan for the next 3 months," she said briskly. "With the big fashion week coming up, we need you at your absolute best." Ella opened the folder and gasped. The diet was extreme. Barely any calories, no carbs, no sugar, just protein and vegetables in tiny amounts. "This isn't healthy," she protested. No one could survive on this. The manager looked surprised. What are you talking about? This is the same plan you've been on for years. You've never complained before. Suddenly, everything made sense. The strict diet plans year after year. The pressure to be perfect. The constant criticism. No wonder Emma was depressed. No wonder she had an eating disorder. And their mother had allowed it, encouraged it even, all for the money. Ella ran home, bursting into Emma's room without knocking. She found her twins surrounded by empty burger wrappers and milkshake cups, tears streaming down her face as she ate frantically. "Get out!" Emma shouted, trying to hide the food. "Get out of my room." Instead, Ella sat down on the bed and showed Emma the diet plan. "Is this what they've been making you follow?" she asked quietly. Emma's anger faded, replaced by shame and then surprise. "You're not going to yell at me for breaking my diet?" "This isn't a diet," Ella said firmly. "It's starvation. No wonder you're struggling." And suddenly, Emma broke down completely. Between sobs, she told Ella everything. The years of being told she was never thin enough, pretty enough, perfect enough. The pressure that crushed her spirit day after day. The mother who saw her only as a source of income. "I was never jealous that you took my place," Emma confessed. "I was afraid you'd end up like me. Broken." Ella hugged her sister tightly. "I'm sorry, I thought you were just mean and spoiled. I didn't understand what you were going through." Together, the twins made a plan. They would confront their mother and the agency. They would expose the unhealthy practices that had destroyed Emma's health. They found their mother at the agency, collecting a check while approving yet another extreme diet plan for Emma. "Mom," Ella said firmly, "this has to stop." Melissa turned, her face paling when she saw both twins together. "What are you doing here? Both of you? Someone might see." "I'm not pretending to be Emma anymore," Ella declared. "And Emma isn't going to follow these dangerous diet plans anymore. We know what you've been doing, sacrificing your daughter's health for money." "Don't be dramatic," Melissa scoffed. "Emma's just weak. Other models manage just fine." "Other models are suffering too," Emma cried. "Do you know how many take drugs to stay awake because they're too weak from hunger? How many faint during shoots? How many hate themselves every time they look in a mirror?" But their mother wouldn't listen. "Whether you like it or not, Ella, you signed a contract. You will continue as Emma or we'll all be sued." That night, the twins called their father and told him everything. He was horrified and immediately promised to help. "I'm coming to the city," he said, "and I'm bringing a lawyer. What's happening to you girls is wrong, and it's illegal." With their father's help, they filed a lawsuit against both the agency and their mother for fraud, endangerment, and promoting unhealthy practices. The case quickly caught media attention, with other models coming forward to share similar stories. Lucas, when he learned the full truth, was still hurt by the deception but understood why it had happened. He needed time, he told the twins. Time to process everything. In the end, their father won custody of both girls. Emma moved to the village to recover, receiving therapy and learning to eat normally again. Ella stayed in the city temporarily to finish school, but visited often. And yes, Ella's stories were published, not because of her mother's connections, but because a publisher who heard about the twins' story read Ella's journals and loved them. Her first book, My Sister's Face, became a bestseller. As for their mother, she lost the mansion and the luxury lifestyle. The agency was forced to change its practices and create healthier guidelines for models. Lucas eventually forgave the twins, becoming friends with both of them. But that's another story for another time. Today, Emma and Ella are 21 years old. They live in different cities, but talk every day. They've learned that while they share the same face, they are different people with different dreams. And that's okay. Emma still models sometimes, but only for agencies that promote healthy body images. Ella is working on her third book. They both visit their father in the village during holidays. They've learned that sometimes, when a sister goes too far, it's because she's hurting too much to see clearly. Thank you for watching. If you like this story, please give it a thumbs up, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this one.
See you next time.